Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club podcast, episode 99.3. Today, you are joined by George and I. We're doing it back in pairs just to make our lives a little bit easier. Last week was, I gotta say, it was a lot of fun to be back with everyone, but in terms of organizing it, it was not so fun. So we're just going to split it up in pairs. We did have a brief moment where we had an idea of doing the Coffee Club monologues, which is still a potential future idea. And I was on one run and I was just daydreaming about it. And I think it'd be so funny just to hear how everyone else's monologues went. So maybe we'll do that in the future. But today it is George and I. George, how you doing?
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, nice to be back. I think I agree. People should leave in the comments if you think we should do coffee club monologues while we're in this window of time change scenarios where it's very difficult. So let us know if you want some monologues.
I'm really enjoying this. I'm not enjoying us being apart, but I'm enjoying this limbo stage where we're putting out all these episodes that are just essentially, I don't know how to say it. They're just killing time until we decide to release episode 100. I guess I feel like we have so much power now because rather than letting the numbers dictate us, we are now dictating the numbers. So we can kind of technically just drop episode 100 whenever we want. Like once we get to 99.9, we could even break it up and start doing 99.91, 99.92. Just see how long
We're
it
just
goes.
picking the number we want at the moment.
But what does scare me about it on the flip side is that the longer we wait, the bigger the build up, the more that we have to deliver.
I think it has to just be, and maybe this is a soft announcement for the third annual, but somehow we just do episode 100 just during the gala.
Yeah,
It's like the
that would
pregame
be
to the gala.
perfect. That would be perfect. We do like a full, like, you know how they have Saturday college football game day where just for like 3 hours before the game, they just have like the table and they're just talking about it and just pumping everything up. And it'll just be like that, but for the gala, that'd be the way to do it.
It's a no-brainer.
So it's coming eventually, but it's still all in the works. And the other thing that we have in the opening of the show is we have an announcement. I am 95% sure that it'll be out by the time this episode airs, but don't quote me on that. OAC merch is finally here, and it's really sick. We saw the first like kind of samples of it, or the designs of it rather, about a year ago at the On Summit, and it's finally here now. And we unfortunately don't have any yet, but we are apparently getting it very soon. And I'm just excited to have more On gear to wear in like a cool casual setting because it looks very swaggy, I gotta say.
It does look very sweet. I missed that meeting at the summit a year ago because we were tasting spikes. And then I also missed seeing it in Semru's just the other day. So the first time I saw it was like half an hour ago when we got sent a picture of what it looked like. That was the first time I'd ever seen it, but it's very cool. So
And it
I'm excited.
delivered. So yeah, check that out. Support the team. The people at On are a bit scared about it not selling, so go buy as much of it as you can, so to support the team and to get it so that we can do more cool OAC stuff because we love doing OAC stuff, and it's just about finding a way to kind of do it the right way. See, with Coffee Club, it's like the Wild West. Like we can kind of just get away with doing whatever, but with a big company like On, there's a lot more hoops to jump through to get stuff like this like off the ground and running. So the fact that it's finally here is one, a testament to a lot of hard work from a lot of people close to the team that care about us a lot. So thank you for that. But two, I think it's just shows that, you know, the team is still on the up and still got so much more cool potential stuff that we can do. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and can buy some and be repping the OAC. So yeah,
What we need
but
is to get Ben Shelton wearing a hoodie. Shout out Ben Shelton, US Open semifinalist as of
yeah,
tonight. He's crushing
how
it.
many tennis players is On sponsor? Is he like one of two?
I'm pretty sure one male and one female. So he's it. He's our one representative, and he's 20 years old, youngest U.S. Open semifinalist since 1993. I think I just saw today.
Well,
Pretty
he's
epic.
representing the brand very well, setting the bar very high for us to follow. Which, speaking of representing the brand in New York, today is going to be a race preview episode. George and I are both racing on Sunday, and George is heading back to Fifth Ave. Third, this is the third time in a row, I guess. Do you?
Third
I guess
time
an asterisk.
lucky / redemption. An asterisk on that, but still third time lucky.
Yep,
Hopefully.
yep. So, how are we feeling going back to New York? You're heading there on Friday. You were telling me.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And speaking of, the US Open semifinal is on Friday. And I don't know if it's like a track meet where they just have like extra tickets, because I'm sure there will be some on like big big guns at that
The big
match.
dogs.
I don't know if I can like sneak like a nosebleed ticket or something to that on Friday. That would be the dream. I remember last year on the pod I said if I won Fifth Ave, I was going to buy a ticket to the final, because it's the final again. It's after, like it's on Sunday afternoon after the race. So maybe I'll stick to that. If I win Fifth Ave, I'll buy a ticket to the final, whether or
And
not
Ben
Ben
Shelton makes it.
makes it. Hopefully he makes it, but
Mm-hmm.
I that is a bucket list thing. I'd love to go to a Grand Slam tennis match. But
Yep.
aside from the tennis, yeah, stoked to go back. Like the last couple of years, I've come straight from Zurich, because normally that's how the season plays out. But been a bit of a weird season this year with the Diamond League final in Eugene, and yeah, just leaving Europe a bit earlier. So coming in from Boulder instead. And if anyone remembers, take one 2 years ago was the food poisoning episode, um, due to a Whole Foods hot bar experience at lunch the day before. And so that was a rough night and a rough morning. I did manage to get out and watch, but I was in such a bad way. It was so rough. Um, and then last year, went back for some redemption, and I think I finished sixth, which was solid. It's actually such a good field again. It's ridiculous.
It always
And
is. Like it
it
always
always
ends up
so
being
good.
stacked.
And I feel like I learned a lot last year. I remember last year I started as far right on the road as like pretty much just like the last person on the right. And then there's a video, like the front on video of the last 100 meters, and I'm like all the way on the left hand side of the road. Like somehow I'd crossed like, I don't even know, 8 or 10 meters, like right to left of the road to like, it was dumb. So no, I'm going to try to run a straight line this year. That's the plan. Um, and man, it's a race. Yeah, it's a race I love going to, and it's a race I'd love to win. But yeah, the field is insane. I think there's Josh Kerr's obviously running, and Ezzeddine Habs. So
Bunch of 330 guys.
two 329 guys, and then Giles and Mills, 330 guys, plus Cooper, 332. There's the field's crazy. Who else is good? I actually had it
It
up. I should have had it up.
Do you think that the dynamic will be different this year because it's not the final meet of the year? Because often, yeah, it's the final meet of the year, so it's kind of like just a bit of fun. But this year, there's still, as you said, like one more week until the Diamond League final, and everyone's kind of prepping for that. So, well, obviously, it's going to change the dynamic of the after party a little bit. But do you think it'll change the dynamic of the race itself?
Dude, I'm looking at it right now. I might be the only person running in Eugene. Unless Habs is running. Habs is probably running. But Josh Kerr apparently is not running. So field,
Oh,
Josh Kerr, Habs, Prakel, Giles, Mills, Tier, CPT, West, Win, Kimboy, Johnny G, keep going down. Neville Bard, Ciardi, Drew Hunter, Eric Holt, me, Beetlejuice, Woody, Thomas Ratcliffe, Olin Hacker, Eric Sawinski.
so what you're saying is the after party is still gonna
So
go
I'm
off?
going to be like the loser that
Yeah.
has to race again the next week.
Dude, that's what I was in 2019. The one time that I did it, because I still had world champs after it,
Oh yeah, what? That was a
which is
weird year.
crazy to think about. Yeah, that's super
That
weird.
will happen again in 2025, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's not many people that actually are likely to race the next week. And apparently Josh Kerr is not running. Maybe Habs is qualified. Maybe Giles. Does Giles? How many times?
I'm not sure. It's the qualifying for the Diamond
Anyway,
League final is so weird because it's only 10 people, but then also a lot of people end up scratching. So it's, you
yeah.
never really know.
So really good field, but yeah, excited to throw down. I haven't run a single 1500 this year. I haven't run a 1500 since uh, Birmingham, like last May or something ridiculous like that. Like well over a year, which is just sad. I said when I run a mile, and that indoor mile was the last time I ran a mile.
You ran the pen relays as well.
Oh, Penn. Yeah, and Penn. So I ran a couple miles this year. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
excited to
Mm-hmm.
get back down and yeah, just sprint,
Just
freaking
sprint.
down Fifth Ave. The plan
What
actually, I
about, yeah, go ahead.
was
Tell
talking
us the race plan.
the race plan. I got two race plans. One is sit on Sam Prekel as much as possible, like arguably best road miler freaking in the US. Maybe he's the dude is
He's
so good
just
at
so
road.
good at putting himself in like the right position.
His positioning is amazing, and he's also the top returner because Jake and Jake, the two Jakes, are not running. Hayward and Whiteman, and Prekel was third last year, so he's top returner, and yeah, his positioning. I think he might be the best racer in my opinion in the US at the moment. Like now that maybe Centro was the OG of that, but I feel like Prekel's racing tactics are so good. The other race
Yeah.
plan is the Jingy move behind Josh Kerr if he's leading. If there's like any sort of headwind, or I feel like it just makes sense in a straight line, put Josh Kerr at the front and just see how much wind he can.
How
But then
tall? How tall is Josh Kerr? I don't think
six.
he's bigger than you.
He's got to be. Is he not tall at 6'2"? Is he not?
Maybe he is.
It just seemed
I
like
don't
he
know.
is.
I don't know his height. All I know is his weight. I was listening on my run to the Sit and Kick podcast today, the World Champs episode. I finally caved in and had to listen to it so I could get those the inside goss. And it was so interesting hearing Josh talk about his nutrition, his nutrition
Really?
plan, and his the chef that he had and all that. And he said that he went from 161 pounds at Oslo down to I think 154 pounds at Worlds. So
Wow.
those are the Josh Kerr stats.
That is interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I did, and someone else said I did think he looked pretty lean in Budapest.
No, there was a lot of memes about skinny Josh and stuff.
Really?
You're not, yeah, you're not alone.
Not
That's
alone?
well, because I think a lot of it was because he said he was kind of making the point that he went about things the right way. And aside from just training really smart and taking care of all that stuff and like being smart with the races that he did, one of the other things that he pointed to was losing weight in the right way. And so, yeah, he talked about working with a nutritionist to, in particular, make a nutrition plan for the last 6 weeks leading up to Worlds. And he had, okay, I kind of like lost concentration for a second when he was explaining this, but I think he said like his coach's wife or something was like cooking him, was like his chef, and she would turn up to training in the morning with a cooler of like all his meals for the day.
What?
Yeah, why don't we have that?
That's so intense.
Yeah, it is, but man, it worked. But
Yeah,
that's a lot of
that's a tough subject to broach. I feel like in this day and age. So, do you think did he approach it well on the podcast at least?
amazingly. I mean, he's
Yeah,
very well spoken, especially. I mean, he's always well spoken, and I think it's probably easier to speak on it when the results speak for themselves after you've won a world title. But everything he said, I was all ears. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very smart. I commend you. So, but yeah, he did a good job talking about it and just about how he like. I don't know if the point was to lose that much weight, but I think the point was just to tick all the boxes in terms of doing everything correctly, and that was the way that he went about it. But
he just is the ultimate professional in basically every way. So it makes sense that he also takes it that seriously in terms of nutrition and getting, quote unquote race weight or whatever. Hopefully
mhm.
he's just been crushing beers and fast food since Worlds leading up to fifth ed. Man deserves it. So hopefully that's all gone out the window and now he stopped caring. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, that would be hilarious if he was just still hungover. I don't think he is going to be. I think he's still a professional. I mean, he did race just a few days after it at Zurich as well, so it would be impressive if he was still going crazy after that. But yeah, I think he'll be kind of just the one to beat, which is not surprising. He's the best in the world right now, but um, I think everyone's going to be trying to keep up him, and everyone's going to want that jinky tuck in
So
behind Josh Kerr.
it's just gonna be a 20-person single file line,
Yeah,
just like the whole way down Fifth Ave. That'd be pretty fun.
that'd be amazing, amazing. And one of the Q&A that we did get today, I don't think I said at the start of the episode, but we have a bunch of amazing Q&A for this one. So thank you very much to everyone who submitted them. One of the Q&A that we did get is George going to be the first to the halfway mark and pick up that elusive $1,000 bonus?
The elusive $1,000. My gut feeling is that I'm not going to be the one, but I've got a few thoughts. I got a few thoughts on who will be, and it won't be Sam Parsons, which would be an upset already.
Is he in the race?
Parsoni is not entered.
I wonder if he's doing. He might be doing my race.
I think he might be. We'll might be on the next preview.
Mm-hmm.
Catch that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know who my pick is? Woody Kincaid.
No way. No way.
I don't know why. Because
I could see it though.
just the fact that he's doing Fifth Ave is pretty funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a few people that aren't 1500 that haven't been running the 1500 all season. Going back to the field, it's like Woody, maybe like Thomas Ratcliffe, Olin Hacker, and me. I think maybe Beetlejuice. I don't even know what we would say. He's maybe he's probably more 5K too.
Yeah, he's more 5K, I would say.
But I feel like Woody could get that so easily, and I don't know.
Do you think he's got 2 kicks in him, or would that be it?
I don't know, but I don't know. Like he just DNF'd his last race. Like, is he here to take it seriously? It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that thought. He's just doing it for the lols. He'll get the lols halfway bonus.
Or he's actually just going to come win with his crazy kick. I actually have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a prediction.
Really?
A shorter race. Dude. Where I've been anywhere. I've only been in a 5K where he's running 12:50 something.
The Woody versus George final 100. That is what everyone would love to see. That's going to be special. I hope it does play out like that now. I hope he just sits right next to you and then you guys get to battle at the end.
Which we'll try line it up for the fans.
My prediction for the halfway bonus is that no one's going to go for it. And it'll just be whoever's leading, which I think will quite possibly be Josh Kerr. That's my prediction. I think everyone's going to be too nervous to go for it because I think
it's too much of a carrot. Someone is going to be like, wait, okay, I got another pick. Eric Sawinski. Wait, what is he? Why would he not go for that?
That's true. He could. He's used to going early, but then you have to run under 4 minutes as well to get it. That is important. So you can't spend all your bickies in the first half of the race. You got to save a couple of them for later. I just think everyone's gonna. I think all the people at the front are gonna be contending for the win or a top 3. So they're all gonna be pretty. I don't know. Maybe someone will go for it, but it's gonna kind of like fall into their laps. I don't think it's gonna be anyone like a big kick. Like last year, was it Centro did a massive kick to get it? Is that correct? Or am I making that up?
2 years ago was Centro.
Okay, that makes sense.
The year with Ollie.
How many times has Parsons won? He must have done it 3 times. That's crazy.
last year when he got the bonus.
That
It's just silly.
that
That's
is
three
silly,
thousand
but
bucks,
yeah, pretty funny.
yeah,
Pretty funny. All
and you
right.
have to come fifth to get the same amount of money. So like, if you don't think you're gonna get more than fifth, like maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I didn't. Yeah, shit. All right, I
Like fifth
gotta.
is $1,000 and halfway is $1,000. So that's where you gotta that's where you gotta draw the line.
That's the balancing act is between those two. Wow.
And last year I was sixth, so I should have gone for the halfway bonus.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Well, I'm very excited to see you race that because I think, especially with your experience last year and the shape that you're in this year, especially you've shown a couple of times over the mile distance that you're in very good mile shape. So I'm very excited to see you race it. I think it's going to suit you a lot. Best of luck. And I think you can go out there and upset a lot of people. That's my prediction.
Thanks, Mog.
So excited to watch that. But I will potentially. Wow, I just realized we'll be racing it. You'll actually probably race before me, or we'll be racing at very similar times with the time zone because I also race on Sunday, but at 7 p.m. Europe time.
I think you'll be before me. Oh wait, no, but it's East Coast time. They might be like 40 minutes apart.
Wow, so cool, so
Someone have
cool.
crunch numbers there. I'm at 12:40 Eastern time.
Okay, yeah,
That
there is
sounds
a
like
way to work that out,
yeah.
but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, nonetheless, Morgan is making the return trip to Zagreb, which I'm very excited for. As a few of you may know, Zagreb is where I raced a 3K at the end of last season to finish off my track season last year. And it just so happened to be essentially the race that qualified me for the World Champs this year because the 3K outdoors has pretty nice points, and it was a gold race, and I think I came fourth or something, so you get mad bonus points for that. So it was by far like my highest points in the rankings, and so it really helped get me across the line for qualifying. I'm making the trip back, and I haven't checked any start lists or anything. I know a fellow OEC teammate Jonas is going to be there, but just based on the pacing that I've been sent, I mean, this is what always happens. I'm pretty sure this happened last year as well, and like no one went with it. So I don't really believe much in this, but this kind of made me think that potentially there are some good people racing. But the pacing that was asked for was 2:30 through the K and then 5:02 at 2K. So it's like very spicy. So we'll see what that means. I don't know, but
It's very
I think
fast.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like that last year. I remember just seeing the pace last year and being like, well, that's silly. No one's going to run that. But we'll see what happens this year. I think a few more people are racing it just because every year people become more aware of the qualifying system. And yeah, for the 5K, having a really good 3K can help a lot in a meet like this. So I think a lot of people will be turning up. But I'm just excited to go out and race again. Just see where the form is at. I've still been getting in some solid training, nothing too crazy, but it was an amazing meet last year. Like just a great vibe. The hotel was great. The way you looked after was great. The crowd was amazing. There were fireworks while we were warming down, which was just epic. And then the after party was like pretty fun. Like they just look after you really well. And most of all, I'm excited to visit the coffee shop. Shout out to Luta Coffee, Luta, because last year we went there every day and we became friends with them. I bought some of their merch. They gave us some beans. They're like into running as well, and so became friends with them. So I'm excited to return and say hello, what's up, make the annual pilgrimage to Luta Coffee. And yeah, I don't know who else is racing. I know Joey is doing the steeple there, Joey Bags. So, and he was there last year. So it's kind of like a bit of a return. Cinta is racing the 1500 meter there as well. So once again, we're doing it together. So yeah, I'm just excited for the vibes and to do another race. Nothing much more to say about it really. So
It was a
yeah.
cool race last year. That you
Mm-hmm.
were at Woody. Did Woody
Woody
win last
won. I think I actually came third last year because I think Woody was first and then I can't remember who was second and then I was third. Last year was so funny because there are a bunch of good guys in it and they did kind of like go off the pace and I got dropped about a third of the way in, I think. and so I was off the back of the front pack, and then for whatever reason they just slowed up, and then I like caught them like with like a lap to go, and then I was able to just like outkick a bunch of them. So I got really lucky last year. We'll see if that happens again this year, but I don't know. I think 3K is a tough distance. I think you have to be in pretty good shape to actually run like a fast 3K. So because it's just like that combination of the speed and strength, and based on how I felt at Worlds when they really ramped it up at the end, I was like felt a bit out of my depth, like running that kind of quicker stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, as I said, just another one in the legs, and just happy to be back out racing. And it's not my last race of the season, last track race of the season, but we're still on the road to Latvia. So just you know,
So
just another stop.
you're gonna be the loser that has to race again at the after party as well.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think about that until now. God damn it. But yeah, I think everyone else will be. I'm pretty sure everyone else racing it will be done for the season. Then yeah, I'll just be there being like, I got another race. I'll probably okay. This is my thoughts. I'll go to the after party for a little bit. I probably won't drink any alcohol, no more than one drink, but I will dance because I am someone who can dance and enjoys dancing when they're sober. And I've come to the conclusion that like after a race, I don't sleep well anyway. So say I was like trying to be like super serious and super focused and being like, oh, I got another race. I got to go to bed and get a good sleep in. If I tried that, I wouldn't fall asleep anyway. So I may as well go enjoy the
May as
after
well be on the
party,
dance floor.
have some good vibes, throw down some dance moves, and then have a nice sleep after that. So that's my plan.
I think mine will be similar. I'm pretty committed to having at least one Guinness at the. If I assume if we're going to the Irish pub again with
Wait, I thought that
citrus
place
mag.
closed.
No, not that one, different one. Unfortunately,
Oh,
I actually never went to that one, but the I don't if Citrus Mag is hosting the after party again. There was some
yeah,
Guinness drunk last year on
that'd be
on
nice.
the Citrus Mag live show, so perhaps I'll be on there briefly,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a
That'd be
little dance
sick.
and then
A little
asleep.
dance, a little dance for the boys, just before bedtime. A little
I didn't even
twinkle.
cool down last year after the race. I just that was it. I was done.
You're like,
This year I'm
that's
gonna
it.
have to like probably have a post race workout in Central Park. It's gonna be the worst.
You will. You will. That'd suck as well if you were getting drug tested. Have I told you my drug testing story from Fifth Ave?
No,
So we haven't talked about my drug testing woes for a very long time. This is like early. I feel like early podcast days. I would bring it up like occasionally, and that's partly because I haven't been getting drug tested as much, and also because I've just gotten better at doing the drug tests, I would say. But back in the day, oof, I had some bad ones, and Fifth Ave may take the cake. So I was so annoyed because I came fourth. Wait, did I come fourth? I think I came fourth at Fifth Ave, and I got randomly selected for drug testing. Like I was like, why? Like they didn't test. I was annoyed because they weren't testing third place, and so I was like, I missed out on the podium and I'm had to have to get drug tested. You know, like if I had just come one place better, I would have been able to have the best of both worlds. But anyway, so my what are they called? The person who like comes and finds you for the drug testing.
chaperone.
My chaperone came and I asked him if I could go warm down, and he's like, "Yeah, go warm down." And so I went and warmed down in Central Park, and then I came back, and then he was in a lot of trouble from the head drug tester because she was like, "You weren't meant to let him go warm down, or at least you had to be watching him the whole time."
Insight. Yeah.
Yeah, I had, and he was like, "Oh, sorry." And so she said that I had to give two samples rather than one, as if that solves the problem somehow. I don't know how that solves it. But anyway, so the drug testing happens in a temporary tent in Central Park next to the finish of the course, and it's in the middle of New York. And so, and the pro races are the last races of the day. So as soon as those pro races are done, everything is getting packed up as quick as possible because it's New York and the city's gotta come back alive and people gotta use these roads. Well, the people packing up, I just couldn't pee this day. Like I just couldn't go. It was like too much happening around me, like the worst setting ever. And I couldn't pee. I was the last one there. And like I couldn't produce anything. And the people, the workers packing up the everything to do with the event had packed up everything else except for the drug testing tent. And it's all these like tough, like New York guys like standing outside me like, yo, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And the lady kept saying, no, we need this, like we can't move, like he has to pee. And it was way too much pressure. And eventually she gave in and she said, okay, they can pack it up, but we have to walk to my hotel room together and you have to do it at the hotel. And so then I'm just walking with her and I go to her hotel. And then and this kind of annoyed me because I did not need this extra pressure. Because I'm aware that I'm bad at peeing in front of people and that it's super annoying. Like, I wish I could just give you a sample in 1 second, of course. Like, I don't enjoy it. No one enjoys it. But she put the extra pressure on me by saying, I have a flight to catch. Like, you better hurry up. I'm like, are you kidding me, lady? Like, I don't need this shit. And it's annoying as well because if you're an athlete and you have a flight to catch, like, they don't care. Like,
Yeah.
they say you have to miss your flight. And so I'm just like annoyed. I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying my best. Like, well, I don't know what more you want me to do. And we got to the hotel room. And luckily, by that time, I was ready to go. That's essentially what it used to be for me, where it was just like after enough time, enough drinking water, like I would just be able to go. And luckily, I eventually peed in her hotel room. And I think she made her flight. So the story has a happy ending, but it was a very traumatic experience for me. So I hope nothing like that happens to you.
Fingers crossed. I'll just
Fingers crossed.
I'll make my chaperone get like a city bike, and they can just do my workout with me,
That'd be perfect. That'd be so good.
and I get a pacemaker as well.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. Actually, you could pay them for that. But yeah, so that's our races on Sunday. Very excited for those. There are some other probably the biggest races of this week is the Brussels Diamond League, which we're in such a weird part of the season where it's like the hangover from Worlds and everything's happening so quickly now. You almost forget about these Diamond Leagues happening. Like, we're in Zurich, we're in China, we're in Brussels, all in this 1 week. The only race that I really know about is the 2K. Well, actually, there's a women's 1500 as well, but the 2K, because the jingle bells will once again be ringing as Jingy makes his return post Worlds, and then Mario is I guess our lone OAC representative, going to take him on in the 2K. So
World
should
record
be hype.
attempt, right?
I see.
Are
I
they
don't
still
know. Like,
saying that?
when people say that, I don't know if it's Jakob Jingy actually saying it or if it's just people saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't see any other reason for doing a 2K though.
Yeah, that is a good point. I'm not sure what the world record is, but I know El Garouche has it, and so I imagine that the 2K world record will be a lot more difficult than the 2 mile world record was. Which, in saying that, I remember looking at the 2 mile world record previously and being like, "Wow, that's such a hard record." But then Jakob just came around and destroyed it. So I don't know, but I guess the 2 mile suits him more than a 2K. You would think.
What do you think the 2K is?
I think it's 449.
Much faster.
Really? 445?
Keep going.
Wait,
444.
444. Jesus Christ, that's quick. Man,
Set a
Algaroos
year
was pretty
before.
quick.
Set a year before Jingy was born.
Crazy.
Fun fact. Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty great. That means you have to split like 340. I don't know, 8 maybe.
Yeah. I
At
don't think
least.
that's happening, but who knows? That
Like
just
it's only
seems so
1600.
hard.
348, 1600.
Yeah, that's true, actually. When you put it like that, if he's on and the pacing is good, I think you'd have to have pretty good pacing for that, like nice and smooth and consistent, and then just a big last lap. I don't know why I guess 4:49. Looking back on it, that was a pretty bad guess.
That wasn't very optimistic. Or
Yeah,
maybe overly optimistic.
yeah. I guess yeah. You just got to think about it like from a miler's perspective. You got to think about it like, okay, at my best, I think I could run. I'm pretending to be Mario right now. This is how Mario's got to think about it. At my best for the mile, I could run 3:46, let's say. So technically, if I go through in 3:50 for 1600, that shouldn't feel that bad. And then I just got to run one more lap quickly,
Really quickly.
really quickly. So that's how they're gonna do it. I think. I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds hard. Never run a
Yeah,
2K.
I think a 2K sounds terrible. I think a 3K sounds nice, and a 1500/mile sound nice. But yeah, something about 5 laps. 5 laps. That just sounds brutal. But it'll be cool to. I do like that they are attempting a couple of off distances this year just to change it up. It does keep it a little more interesting. And yeah, I think Mario did mention that he was going for maybe the Spanish record in the 2K. I don't think it was too fast, too hard out of his reach. So yeah, hopefully he can get up and have a good one
I think
after
that might be
Zurich.
452, but he will
Hmm.
have to beat the Black Cat Moketeer in order
Oh
to get that.
no! All right, he can do it. He's taken him down before, multiple times. All right. Well, is there anything else from Brussels, or is that our
I
that's our
know
Brussels
nothing. I
preview?
don't know what else is happening in Brussels. I have literally no idea.
Yeah, that's our Brussels preview. So good, such a good track podcast. Look at us go. But no, it's hard. I'm sure there's gonna be like some amazing sprints and stuff, but for distance, that's all I know of. Actually, hold the phone. There's a 10K. I just remembered.
Is that actually happening?
There's a men's 10K and maybe a women's. Like
That
the
I don't know if
one
that sounds good or not.
the one big 10K of the year, apart from Worlds, is taking place, and they're going to be going for the Olympic standard. I guess it must be. I'm sure to be paced at least 27 minutes.
So this is
But
like the sound running 10K of Europe.
exactly. But with a couple more Africans in it, I would guess. I'm gonna guess. I think Jimmy Gressier is racing it, so he's been in fine form. So maybe he'll do something crazy.
All right, that's insane. That sounds so terrible right now.
Yeah, but oh well.
Couldn't
Oh
be
yeah, George's worst nightmare at track 10K at the Diamond League
me. Yeah,
post
that's
Worlds.
not in my plan to to improve the 10K. That wasn't on there. That wasn't
They
in my
they
notes.
they clearly weren't paying enough attention. So that's our super in depth, excellent preview of the Brussels Diamond League, which happens on Friday or Saturday. Friday.
Friday, I think.
Okay. Hopefully we got that right. But moving on from all that amazing racing track action, we'll get into the Q&A. And yeah, as I said earlier, thank you so much for everyone who submitted them. An amazing week for Q&A questions. We have so many to go through, and we'll just get into a couple of them today. First off, and I know we've answered this one before, but we still have so many people always asking it. How do each of you order your coffees?
It's still a good one. I feel like because
Yeah,
sometimes different time of year, maybe it changes a little bit.
we go as people. Our coffee order grows, changes.
I could go first because I just went yesterday. I was just telling Morg
Please.
I went to Verb Coffee in Boulder, new-ish spot. Apparently, they already had a place up on a roastery and a spot up on Broadway somewhere, but they've opened a new location closer to town. And I whipped in there yesterday and ordered. This is my afternoon order: iced americano, black, nothing in it.
No
It was
milk,
delicious. No,
no sugar.
for some reason, the later in the day, the less I feel like hot and milky coffee. In the morning, I would order a cortado or a flat white of some kind. But if it's post, it was like 3 p.m. I don't feel like that anymore. So my last two coffees, because I also went to another new Boulder spot, Comfort Creature. I always forget which way around.
Creature Comforts, I believe, but who
And
knows?
I also ordered iced Americano there.
Wow. How
And I feel
Italian
like
of you.
you can taste a lot of coffee, I feel like, when it's cold and when it's black. That might
Yeah.
be that might be a controversial opinion.
No, no. I think, see, the thing is, and I kind of always, like, I often say this. We did name our podcast The Coffee Club, and we all love to drink coffee, but we are not experts on coffee. And I am very confident that if you truly believe in tasting the different beans and being able to properly compare them, like on the highest level, I think you have to drink your coffee black. I think that's just how the aficionados do it. But it's not what I like the most, so it's not what I order. But yeah, it is nice, especially when you get it cold and sometimes it's like really strong. I think you can taste them so good, and they do taste great. So that's a good coffee order. I like that.
What do you got?
So for me, I guess it depends where I am mostly. But if I'm going out for coffee, I'm always ordering a cortado. But if I was, say, in Australia, I would order a cappuccino because in America, when if you order a cappuccino, it's like it can mean so many different things. Like the amount of milk and the amount of froth that they put in it is so variable. It can make or break the coffee. In Australia, if you order a cappuccino, I think it's pretty standard what you're going to get. It's a nice amount of froth with some chocolate powder on top, which I like. But yeah, in America, I just play it safe. And cortado is just like the standard drink. I think I don't know why it is really like cortado is like the drink that every like good cafe kind of just has on their menu, which is, and they all like nail it pretty much like all like the good coffee places in Boulder. So that's kind of my go-to. I do like the iced coffee like after a run or something sometimes. So I will do that sometimes. And then my other thing that I do is my first coffee of the day. And I mostly only drink one coffee a day, but my first coffee of the day is normally just no sugar. But then my second coffee, I'll normally spice it up with some sugar, some sweetness. So yeah, I'm pretty basic. I don't really change it up. I just go with that. One of the Q&A that we did have, which I found interesting, was someone asked us, what is the significance of the roast level in coffee and how does it affect taste and aroma? And the reason why I found this question interesting is because I wasn't sure if they were asking us because like they really want to know and like they thought we were like the best people to ask rather than just like Googling it, or if they're testing us. You know what I mean?
Maybe they think this is actually a coffee podcast.
Yeah, maybe they've actually never listened and they just follow the Instagram just because the name.
They're like, these guys probably know so much about coffee.
But I'm sure you can answer that question though.
I'm probably gonna butcher it though. There's someone listening that like actually knows, and it's like these idiots. No,
Yeah.
the I was chatting to the barista yesterday at Verb Coffee, and he was telling me that they might have some roasting classes and or cupping classes, which I think is when you like taste it
Hmm.
in the future. And so I actually would love to go to one of those, and then maybe I would actually know. Um, but I feel like we just know that we prefer light to medium roasts.
Yeah, I guess that is the
I
take on it.
couldn't tell you much more. I just like the taste.
Yeah, I think our kind of more simplistic answer to this is that the if the roast is more on the lighter to medium side, one, it has more caffeine in it, and two, it I think it retains more of like the natural flavors and like the more like unique aromas because this is just my way of thinking about it. As you cook something more, it all approaches the same thing. You know what I mean? Like they all become more the same, which is just a burnt taste. So the further you are away from that, the more uniqueness there should be.
Yeah, my
That's
first test is if the beans are shiny, I stay away.
If they're oily, that's not
That
good.
means they've been, I believe, roasted to a point where the oils come out. And I think that only happens at some quite dark roast point. So if they're oily, I avoid them at all costs.
Mm-hmm. It's a good test. It's a good test. So that's our super, super legit coffee expert, coffee club podcast host answer to that one. Hopefully we did it right and we've passed your test, whoever asked that question. The next one we have, and I feel really bad about the fact that we essentially ignored this for the last 2 months, but we need to do a coaching Kev update and essentially a coaching Kev wrap up. And George ended up being the one who coached Kev for the full amount of time. Even though we didn't talk about it on the show, George was writing his training every week and he was running some amazing training for him. And Kev was having some great results. So, George, you kind of want to give your take on how it all played out in the end?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been meaning to do this for weeks, but I feel like the end of Kev's season lined up with kind of right around, I think we were in Emirates for the last bit, and then it was kind of like right before World, so it was hard to drop that into like the pre-Worlds podcast. So kind of just tried to save it for the right time, but I guess that's now. And yeah, so that's been a pretty cool part of Coffee Club Pod. Didn't expect that I would get to spend a summer coaching an athlete, and he was like the most perfect uh, athlete to coach. So he didn't miss a day of training, like not even one somehow in, well, I don't know, 3 months or something. It was
And he
ridiculous.
did it with full enthusiasm as well.
Yeah, such a good attitude, so much positivity. His Strava was great to keep up with, and aside from, I feel like early on I gave him like a workout that was probably pretty far off. Um, Aside from that, like one, he like his execution was just amazing. So although I guess season wrap up, we didn't reach road to sub 420. That I think that was a big goal, and I think his best time at the end of the season was a 427, which is still pretty damn good. And we did post on the Instagram kind of at the end of the season, but in his last race of the year, a 5K in Chicago somewhere, got the dub and was sub 16, 15:58 or something in the last race of the year. So that was huge.
That
From
was his secondary goal.
Yeah, so we reached secondary goal of sub 16. Sub 420 we'll have to wait for another summer. But that was coaching Kev. So pretty successful, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the coaching side of it was very successful. You did an amazing job, and he really enjoyed it. What wasn't as successful, which this falls on me a lot mostly, is the packaging it and feeding it to our fans part because it's just ended up being like a lot more work I think than I anticipated, and it just was like too easy to just put it off and just be like, oh, we'll do it next week, and then it just like didn't happen. And then once we get overseas and we're in that point of the season, it's really hard to like come back to that type of stuff. So if we do something like that again in the future, I think now we know that and we will have to plan it out a lot better. But it's always going to be hard for us to do extra projects in the summer because 98% of our focus is taken by our day job. And so there's never going to be much left over for extra stuff like that. But it was a cool initiative. And yeah, I was very happy to see how it played out for you guys. I think you guys had a great thing going on, a great coach athlete relationship. So shout out to you for that you did, and shout out to Kev for being an amazing athlete. And hope you got a lot out of it.
Just representing the podcast too.
Yeah,
Every race.
the backwards visor.
Yeah. Upside down sometimes too, wasn't it?
Yeah. The best one, still the best memory I had was watching I think I was watching it live, the Beer Mile, where he was we did actually talk about this one. I remember we talking about this one on the pod, where he was so close to winning. Every lap was between him and another guy, and then on the last lap he just disappeared, and it ended up that he had thrown up and had the penalty lap, and yeah, struggled to come home. But he gave it everything, and that I think right there just typifies Kev, the man that he was. So yeah, it was an awesome thing, and hopefully we can do something similar to that again in the future. So thank you, Kev, and thank you for the questions about him. Good to see that the people still had him in the back of their minds. I think the final question that we'll do for today is, this is a good one because we haven't really actually talked about this. I don't know how this has skipped our mind, but it's talk about Kelsey Quinn's role in the club. How have you found having an assistant coach? And so, for those who don't know, Kelsey is our new assistant coach from, must be 2 or 3 months already, right?
I think so. June, maybe?
Yeah. And I mean, I'll let you talk about it first, but yeah, I think she's been amazing to have around, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It has been kind of interesting that she started mid-season as opposed to the start of the season. So kind of immediately when she started, people were all over the place racing in different parts of the world and kind of all over the show. So I think one really nice thing is that because everyone was everywhere, we could kind of have Dathan at one location, whether Europe or a Diamond League or something, and Kelsey back here. Either I know she's been up at 6 a.m. Helen O'Berry miles. I
Mm-hmm.
know she did 40K this morning at something ungodly. Well, yesterday actually, 40K yesterday morning at something ungodly. So I think that's been a nice thing this in the last couple of months specifically. Um, but yeah, she's bringing a lot of expertise in some sports science areas, and it's been nice for all our. If we're taking lactate on the track, like there's quite a lot of us, and having an extra set of hands is good for that. And I really should be taking advantage of her hurdle expertise. I think she was a 400
Yeah, I
hurdler,
think so. I think so.
maybe. Yeah, so I really should be getting some hurdle tips from her, but haven't had that coaching session yet.
That'll come. That'll come. No, she's been great. I think, especially for me, because I was one of the people who spent like the early season. I was just in Boulder the whole time when everyone was off racing, and Dathan was traveling with the people that were racing, as you would expect. And so Kelsey was there for a lot of my early workouts coming back into it. And she was amazing. She's just another great presence to have at the track. She adds a lot to the team dynamic. She's very enthusiastic, and she's had multiple different coaching roles in her coaching career so far. And I think it's really useful because she's had all these different experiences, and then she can bring them all to us. And it's just nice to have another perspective as well. I mean, she is the assistant to Dathan, so pretty much it's not like she's like writing programs or anything like that yet. But in terms of, taking the workouts that Dathan has given to us and then helping like communicate them to us. And then on the day, based on how we're going, like she's good at interpreting. She's good at she's just good at coaching, I guess. I'm just describing the job of what coaching is. And she's good at that. So she's very awesome to have around. So I've really been happy to have her added to the team. And as our team grows every year, yeah, you're going to need more staff to help support us because we just have so many people off doing so many different amazing things. It's yeah, it takes a lot of people to support them now, and it's cool to see the team grow like this and just continue to bring in the right people, I would say. So yeah, loved having her around, and I look forward
Yeah,
to
just
continuing
now
to
that
develop with her.
the now our team is growing so much, and like for the range of events we have from like Sage to Helen and everything in between. Like it means at any given day at the track, like we might have 5 or 6 like workouts going on at once, and like Dathan wants to have a handle on every single one of them, like splits, chicken in on everyone, like running in between every single split. So, um, and that's not always possible, even though he tries. But
Tries
it's
his
nice
damn best.
having someone else there that knows the workout, and like I'm off doing like something random steeple workout on the side, and then I'll just be like, like Kelsey, what's like the what's the rest on this, or like what am I supposed to do in between? And then like she'll know because Dathan's on the other side of the track and doing all sorts of other stuff. So I think it's been really valuable now that the team has grown so much.
So yeah, it's been great. Thank you for the question. I'm surprised that we haven't really talked about her more, but I think we probably will as the episodes continue to go on. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from us for today. Anything else, George, before we leave these people?
I don't think so. Just tune in on Sunday, NBC for Fifth Ave, I think, 12:40 Eastern.
My
More.
race is not on NBC. Not sure how you can watch it. Look at European Athletics, Zagreb something track meeting, and you could probably find it there. But yeah, race week for the boys. So wish us luck. But yeah, I think that's it for episode 99.3. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And we'll see all of you guys next week.